pretty quickly. This is a hotbed. I'm sure a lot of you know what a hotbed is. Those of you who don't, it's effectively a bed filled with manure that then heats up compost in a grow frame, which you can sow seed or grow actual plants in it. So that's the basic premise of it. It's just as the manure decomposes and breaks down, it releases heat, and that heat is utilized to grow vegetables, which is amazing. We followed a book written by Mr. Jack First, who actually appeared on Gardener's World, I think in 2013 or 2012, I'm not sure. And his book is pretty detailed about what you can, how you make a hotbed, ideally, and also if there are less than ideal conditions as well. So in terms of size, location, and also even the availability of manure. So he's dealt with all those issues, and it was a pretty brilliant book, actually. Very small, very concise, but extremely detailed. So yeah, if you're interested in building a hotbed like this, please just look him up, Jack First, and I'll post a picture of him on my Instagram account in a bit. So the main basic structure of this is this outer frame, which is built out of pallet wood here, and then we lined it with, in this case, you're supposed to line it with cardboard or something similar, but we actually had these packets of wool in plastic, which came with our vegetable delivery, which we wanted to return and never got around to returning. So we thought it might actually provide a good insulation for, the heat to stay in, and I think it's doing a pretty good job, actually. So that's all lined with wool. The manure is, I think over here comes up to 75 centimeters. So because we can build a very long hotbed, we compromised and added more manure than you would normally add to one of the hotbeds described in Jack First's book. And he actually does give you these allowances as well, like if you can't meet the ideal conditions. Now, the temperature, when I opened this today, the ambient temperature is actually 8 degrees. It's freezing, actually. It's quite cold. But this doesn't feel very warm now, but under here it feels amazingly warm. And I put my thermometer in there, and the temperature, you can see that, it's 20 degrees. So that's just measuring the ambient temperature. I haven't poked it into the compost, but it's measuring 20 degrees, and that's how warm it is in there. I've sown some seeds in here. I've sowed some various leaves because, as a family, we love our leaves, our lettuces and spinach and mustards and everything. So I've sown as much of that as I can in here. And I've also used up quite a lot of space in here for that. The lettuces, these ones I sowed last year in autumn, as with these, and they didn't do anything beyond just sit in the plug tray. And I think at the moment they're kind of in protest as well, because they've just been split apart from these modules here and put into there. So I reckon it'll probably take them about a week or so, maybe even 2 weeks to get adjusted to this. There's some rocket that I sowed, rocket salad, again in a module outside. It's been outside all this time until I planted it in, and as you can see, that's not the happiest of rockets that I have seen. The rest of this bed here is also sown up with a whole bunch of leaves. This space that I'm looking at right now, that doesn't have anything in there, and I will be sowing radishes and maybe some stump-rooted carrots. We'll see. I may allow some of these other things to germinate before I start sowing more anyway. But definitely here will be some radishes and stump-rooted carrots. Many a grow frame, as Jack First puts it, has been made according to the size of the lights, which are usually a used window frame. So these window frames, we actually found them and wanted to make a greenhouse out of it, but in the end we used it for this, and I think this is a really you know, it sticks a little bit, but actually it works really well for what it is. And just going to put this down for a moment and show you something. God, that's what my shoulder. Did it. Right. So now this is really warm. It's really, really nice. And I know there's no seeds here, so I'm going to just pull away some of this compost. And I don't know whether you can, yeah, you can. You can see that steam coming out from there. If I've put my hand in deeper, it's pretty hot. Yeah, very, very hot. Steaming compost. So that's how much heat that's being generated. And you know, according to Jack First, you know, we lose about 1,000 hours of daylight from January to April in terms of growing. So this is a very good way of doing it. So I hope you're inspired to do something like this. Yeah, I hope the video was pretty informative anyway. Just to say, last thing, between the grown frame and the actual outer frame, there was manure up to the top of the grow frame, but what happens as manure composts and breaks down is it obviously sinks, so this whole stack is sinking. And in fact, this compost here was actually up to here, so that's gone down as well, and that will happen. And there's an advantage to obviously that happening, because as it goes down, it'll allow for more space for the plants to grow and develop. So, but the reason why you fill it up to the top is that if you sow seed into something that is pretty low down, then what will happen is you'll get etiolated plants, so you don't want that. So that's why you have to fill the grow frame all the way up to the top. Okay, so that's it. I'll just leave you with another dimension of this and what it looks like. Okay, thank you for watching.